Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over the MLB slate on DraftKings and Yahoo for Thursday, June the 20th. We got a 10-game main slate for Thursday. I'm going to go through pitching, start off with pitching, and work my way through the player pool. I'll be sure to hit on all the pitchers that I like today, give two of my favorite options. Then we'll look at some hitters I like, specifically 3 hitters for DraftKings and for Yahoo. Then we'll talk about some stacks that I'll be going to. Then towards the end of the video, we'll look at some BVP plays for those of you that are interested in BVP. Just before we do get started, guys, I would appreciate it if you would drop a like on the video. And if you are new to the channel, make sure you click that subscribe button down below so that way you won't miss out on any of my new videos. So starting off at pitcher today, I think there's a couple options at the top that I'm really interested in. On DraftKings, Charlie Morton's the most expensive pitcher, and he is $11,300. Gets a matchup with Oakland. Morton's not one of the guys that I'm interested in. I just feel like he's overpriced. He's too expensive for the matchup. I feel like you can get similar production, even better production for cheaper. Walker Buehler is definitely one of my favorite spend-up options, and he's the guy that I like the most today. He's $10,500 on DraftKings. On Yahoo, he's at $54. He's the most expensive pitcher on Yahoo. But the fact that he's the most expensive pitcher, I think, might actually keep his ownership somewhat down because you have Strasburg for cheaper, you have Morton cheaper, Odorizzi cheaper. Frankie Montas also is cheaper as well. I'm still going to be playing a ton of Walker Buehler on Yahoo. Love this matchup with the Giants. It's just such a bad Giants lineup. Low total right now for the Giants, just a 2.9 implied run total. That's the lowest on the slate. There are some strikeouts in this lineup as well, especially when you get towards the bottom. I just really like Buehler here. He's been pitching very well lately. Has actually been showing a lot of strikeout upside lately. 6, 9, 11 Ks his last 3 starts, 6 Ks against the Mets. I believe he's gotten, besides that first start against the Cubs to begin the year, he's gotten at least 6 strikeouts in every start this year. And against this Giants team, I think Buehler can pitch very well here. He's faced them twice this year and has averaged 26 DraftKings points through 2 starts against the Giants. So I like going to Buehler quite a bit. I think he's one of the top options. It's very close between him and Steven Strasburg for me. I don't know why Strasburg's not showing on DraftKings, but Strasburg's price is $10,700. So he's $200 more than Buehler. I still think I prefer Buehler over him on Yahoo. Strasburg's cheaper, but I still prefer Buehler over him. But I do play multiple lineups, so I'll be mixing in a little bit of Strasburg, but I do expect Buehler to be my highest owned option. Jake Odorizzi against the Royals probably won't be someone I get too much today. I just would rather play Buehler, and I would rather play Strasburg. Same could be said for Frankie Montas. Montas has been great this year, especially as of late. Not the best spot against the Rays. Pretty good park, but not the best strikeout matchup. I would just rather play Buehler, and I would rather play Strasburg. If I'm paying up to the top, those are the 2 guys I'm going to be considering the most. And then when looking for an SP2 to pair with Buehler, it's pretty tough today. There's not a lot of cheap options that I love on DraftKings. A couple of guys I want to hit on. Adam Wainwright at $7,500 at home against the Marlins. I think is definitely playable today. Wainwright's not a guy that I usually roster, but pitching at home against the Marlins is obviously a good matchup. Wainwright hasn't been completely terrible this year. He's had some decent starts in there. Like against the Phillies, he went out there and got 10 Ks, which was kind of crazy. He did give up 4 runs in that start, but got 10 strikeouts through 6 innings. In that start against the Cubs, he had 8 innings, 7 strikeouts, 32 DraftKings points. Wainwright's shown a little bit of upside this year. Obviously, there's downside in Wainwright. He's pretty risky, but I think the matchup with the Marlins kind of mitigates the risk. So you could definitely look to Wainwright at $7,500. I really like him on Yahoo. He's very cheap on Yahoo at $31. But we're going to talk about a guy that's even cheaper that I think gives you a ton of upside at his price tag. We'll get there in a second. But for DraftKings, I think Wainwright makes sense as an SP2 to pair with Buehler. Also really like Wade LeBlanc. Wade LeBlanc is not a guy that I usually roster, but he is dirt cheap today at $5,800, and he's pitching at home against the Orioles. I think Wade LeBlanc makes a lot of sense as a cheap SP2 on DraftKings. So far this year, LeBlanc's just kind of been an average pitcher. He's gotten blown up a few times, especially like against the Twins. In his last start against Oakland, he got rocked. He's given you some good starts in there, though. Against the Angels, 6 innings, 2 runs, 8 Ks. Against Houston, 8 innings, just 1 run, 2 Ks. He's not going to go out there and get a ton of strikeouts, but in this matchup with the Orioles, we could definitely see LeBlanc pick up a few Ks because there are some strikeouts in this Orioles lineup. Trey Mancini did get hit by a pitch on Wednesday in their day game, so maybe he's forced to miss this game, and if Mancini does miss, That's going to make it a lot more appealing for Wade LeBlanc because Mancini is the best hitter on the Orioles. I do like him here quite a bit at 5,800. There's a chance he doesn't open this game and they go with the opener, and then LeBlanc is like the long reliever. Whether he starts or whether he's the long reliever, I think LeBlanc at 5,800 makes a lot of sense as a cheap play. If you pair him and Buehler together, you still have plenty of salary for bats. So LeBlanc is a guy that I'm going to be going to quite a bit on DraftKings. Over on Yahoo, you could definitely consider LeBlanc. He's at $28, I believe. $28. He's pretty cheap. He's $3 more or $3 less than Wainwright. But the guy that I really like on Yahoo is Nick Pivetta. Nick Pivetta is minimum salary on Yahoo, which just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. This is a guy that does have upside. Lately, he hasn't been that great, but at minimum salary, you don't need him to go out there and have a great start. Like on DraftKings, Nick Pivetta is 8,200, I believe. Yeah, 8,200. That's just not a price tag that I want to pay for Nick Pivetta. But where he's a minimum salary on Yahoo, even in a tough matchup against the Nationals, Pivetta could go out there and easily get 15, 20 fantasy points and be a great value at his price tag on Yahoo. So that's the reason I'm not going to Wainwright or LeBlanc on Yahoo, is because you have Pivetta all the way down here at 25, which just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. He's a guy that I like going to quite a bit. He's going to be in a lot of my Yahoo lineups at minimum salary. But I think that's it for pitching today. I think those are the guys I'm kind of looking to. For SP1, paying up, I really like Buehler and Strasburg. Those are the guys I'm going to be playing the most of. And then SP2, I think Wainwright's a pretty good value. I think LeBlanc's a pretty good value. On Yahoo, I love Nick Pivetta at minimum salary. Those are the guys I'm going to be going to the most. But now let's talk about some hitters I like. So I do want to start off with the Angels. I think the Angels are in a great spot today versus Clayton Richard. On DraftKings, I want to try and get some of these guys in my lineups. Justin Upton and Mike Trout are two of my favorite plays here. Two righties getting to face a lefty and Clayton Richard. Trout at 5,800 obviously is expensive, but in this matchup with Richard, I think he's worth the price tag. And then Justin Upton, pretty reasonable at just 4,200, I think also makes a lot of sense. On Yahoo, it's a bit tougher to play these guys together. Trout's 28, very expensive, but like I said, I think he's worth the price tag. But over on Yahoo, Justin Upton is $19. It's really hard to fit Upton in. If you plug him in there, you're already down to $12 remaining per player, which is a bit tough. So for that reason, I'm not going to go to Upton on Yahoo because of his price tag. I'm sure in my Yahoo lineups where I have like full Angel stacks, I'll have Upton in there. But if I'm just trying to pick a one-off from the Angels, or a part of a mini stack, it's definitely going to start with Trout for me. Trout just such a good hitter, facing a lefty in Clayton Richard, who's just not good at all. He's made 5 starts this year with the Blue Jays. He's given up a home run in 4 or 5 starts. If you look at the runs, just the last few starts, 5 runs against the Astros, 7 runs against the D-backs, 2 against the Yankees, 2 against Tampa Bay, 1 against Boston. Richard's just not a guy that's that good of a pitcher. He's not going to get strikeouts. You look at the strikeouts through 5 starts, just 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 strikeouts. And against this Angels team that already doesn't strike out much, it's just such a tough spot for Richard. Love Trout here. Love Upton. Pujols is a good play in my opinion. Ohtani, even though it's lefty-lefty, I still like Ohtani a lot. David Fletcher, I think, is a really good play. Lucroy is a pretty good catcher play. I'm definitely going to be going to the righties first, but I'll be mixing in the lefties where I have full Angel stacks. And Trout and Upton are definitely going to be the 2 guys that I start with from the Angels. Then a cheap one-off that I really like today. Don't know if I'm going to be full stacking the Mets, but I do like Robinson Cano as a cheap one-off. He's only $3,400 on DraftKings. He's also dirt cheap on Yahoo. He's second base, and he's $9. He was minimum salary for a few days, but they did bump his price up a bit to $9. But I do like this spot a lot for Robinson Cano. I actually think the Mets do make some sense as a stack. Don't know if I'll be going there because of how their prices work. Like Conforto for $4,800, Pete Alonso for $5,300 is really tough to pay, but you do get some value with Robinson Cano in the middle of the lineup, batting third for only $3,400. I don't like going to the bottom of the lineup because Frazier, Rosario, Gomez just aren't that great of hitters, but if you can get like a 5-man stack, the 1 through 5 from the Mets, I think that does make sense here versus Tyler Chatwood. Tyler Chatwood really struggles with walks. That's something this guy's had a big problem with ever since just being in the majors, especially when he joined the Cubs. His walks have been through the roof. We look at the walks just in his relief appearances this year. 2 innings, 2 walks, 2 innings, 2 walks, 4 innings, 3 walks, 2 2/3 of an inning, 3 walks. His walk rate's like through the roof this year, 14.1%. He's just not a guy that's really that good. He doesn't really get strikeouts either, and he will give up some home runs. So I love going to some of these Mets bats. If you can get to Alonso and Conforto, go for it, but it's definitely going to start with Robinson Cano for me because of how cheap he is, just how much value he gives you at that price tag. Really like him on both sides with how cheap he is. And then to fill out my 5 on Yahoo, one of the teams I really like if you're stacking them on Yahoo is the Brewers. Lorenzo Cain and Ryan Braun are both very cheap on Yahoo. Braun is $10 and Lorenzo Cain is $9. I do like Ryan Braun quite a bit at 10, but obviously you can go to Cain at $9 as well. Both of those guys feel way too cheap here for this matchup with Tanner Roark. No, Tanner Roark is much better against righties than lefties, but still he's just not that good of a pitcher to either sides of the plate. And it's just such a tough spot for him having to go into Miller Park in this great hitters park and face this really good Brewers lineup. Just the top of this lineup is so hard to get through. The 1 through 6, I would say, is just really tough with Cain, Yelich, Braun, Moustakas, Grandal, Eric Thames. A ton of power through there. They got 4 lefties in the top 6, and then the 2 righties in the top 6 aren't easy outs either. I do like going to the Brewers here. 5.3 implied run total versus Roark. They're definitely going to be one of the stacks I go to quite a bit on Yahoo, especially when you look at the prices of some of the guys like Braun and Cain, both at $10 and $9. But that's it for my 5 plays today, guys. Let's go ahead and talk about some stacks now. Then we'll look at BVP before we end the video. So my favorite stack today is the Angels here versus Clayton Richard. 5.6 implied run total. I'm going to be going to Angels bats quite a bit. Really think they are a great stack here versus Richard. Don't mind going to the Yankees versus Framber Valdez. Valdez has been pretty good this year, but this is a tough spot for him, having to face this really good Yankees lineup in Yankee Stadium. Ever since they added Encarnacion and they got Stanton back, this is just a really hard lineup to get through. Stanton got a day off on Wednesday. I'm sure he's going to be back in the lineup for this game on Thursday. Like LeMahieu at 4,600, Gary under 5K, even Encarnacion's over 5K, but I think he's worth the price tag, especially if you're stacking the Yankees. Don't know what Giancarlo's price is, but Giancarlo's a great play today versus a lefty. Then you got Glaber in there, Aaron Hicks, just such a tough lineup for Valdez. Really like some Yankees bats versus him. Will be interesting to see what their total is once we get a total on this game. But then I mentioned the Brewers on Yahoo I like quite a bit. I think going to some Mets bats versus Tyler Chatwood makes sense. I think some Twins versus Glenn Sparkman make a lot of sense if you want to go there. But other than that, I think that's it for stacks. Let's go ahead and look at some BVP now before we end the video. So a couple BVP plays I want to hit on that really stand out. Anthony Rendon, 8 for 15, 3 home runs off Nick Pivetta. Trey Turner, 4 for 12, 2 home runs off Pivetta. Joey Votto, 9 for 26, 2 home runs off Jimmy Nelson. Kike Hernandez, 19 for 38 with 3 home runs off of Bumgarner. And Justin Turner, 17 for 68 with 4 home runs off of Bumgarner. So those are some BVP plays that I got for today, guys. I think that is it for this video. Hopefully you did enjoy this video, and hopefully it did help you. If you enjoyed, make sure you click that like button down below, and make sure you subscribe if you have not already. If you do have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below, or like always, you can hit me up on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT. If you do have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below, or you can contact me on Twitter. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed, and we will see you in the next one. Good luck tonight. Peace.